Here we go. Oh, hello world. This is Dave, broadcasting from the Dave Cave for the very first episode of the Davecast. Why, Bebe? Oh my goodness. You guys were live. Oh, this has been a project that has been in the works for maybe my whole life, but consciously for the past several years. I have been thinking about a bazillion different ways to launch this project, and I probably could have been in the planning stages for the rest of my life. To be honest, I do love to plan. But there comes a time, I think, for every idea where the planning needs to stop and you just need to dive in. And that is the moment right now for the Davecast. How's it going, world? My name's Dave, and I'm feeling as pumped as a baby goat on a trampoline right now to get this thing launched. So let's just jump into this. I am so excited to take this journey with you, and that you are here from the very beginning means a lot to me. The likelihood is that most of the people listening to this are probably like my family and closest friends. Hi, and Mom. I can't think of a better way to launch than that. And so I am very grateful for the impact that so many of you have had on this project and on me personally throughout my life. So love you guys. You're amazing. We're going to do this in 3 different sections. First, I just want to introduce myself briefly and give you a little bit of background about what this project is and why I decided to do it. Second, I want to introduce you to the cast of the Davecast, as there are multiple characters that are part of this show. And number 3, I want to let you know how you can get involved, where we're going from here, and what the project entails and the broader vision of what I am hoping to accomplish with the Davecast.
Part 1, the story of Dave.
My story begins on a hot summer day in Redding, California. A little dramatic? Yeah, you're going to have to get used to that. So, okay, I probably could start at the beginning because I feel like this project, in a lot of ways, did start with birth. I think from the very beginning, I've had this inner desire to help others in creative ways and to project myself in creative, sometimes a little bit crazy, goofy, silly, weird ways. And a lot of times I felt like I haven't fit in. And so throughout my life, I tended to make that all go away and play small and hold it in. And the reality is I could never quite keep it in. I remember doing like freestyle rapping on the playground for quarters. And it was like, I wasn't like trying to make money, but people were like giving me tips, and they just throw out words and I would rap songs. Or sometimes I would go around with an art pad, and I'd ask people what they wanted me to draw, and I'd draw it for them and I'd give it to them. And I was really proud of like how fast I could do it. Then I got into teaching later in my life as a career. I've been a professional educator for 20 years now. This is beginning my 20th year of education. In fact, we're halfway through it now, so well into my 20th year. For most of that time, I was a professor of Latin American studies, and I do have my doctorate in Hispanic literature, so I am technically Dr. Dave. But right now, I'm blessed to be an instructional coach at the coolest charter school in the history of charter schools. Shout out to Merit Preparatory Academy.
Good nights!
But that has been my life. I have always been a teacher, and so that creativity has been part of teaching, and I've loved it. But I've still tempered that as far as like the full creative mode. I've always kind of had this, and I think is a good thing, but like a layer of professionalism that was necessary for the roles that I was in, right? I mean, my full-on goofy self would come out occasionally, but I've always had like this feeling inside that there's a whole other level of entertainer in me that hasn't come out yet. And so what's thrilling to me in this project is that I get to combine all of these things. Teacher and freak show? Woohoo. and finally project as I actually am. In 1,000 different ways, I have learned to mask who I am in order to fit within whatever context I'm in. I'm a master chameleon, and I've been able to become what I need to be successful in a lot of different areas in my life. But sadly, most people really, even if they think they do, don't really know me. And for a really long time, I didn't know me either. And so the process of that self-discovery and tearing back layers, and often painful ones, in order to get to my core self and to heal past traumas and to, learn how to cope with different ways that I function within a world that doesn't always play nice with neurodivergency. Mm-hmm. That has been both an exhilarating and a terrifying challenge and opportunity. And I've learned so much about myself and others through that process. I think going through that self-discovery process has produced a much higher level of empathy for others. I've come to the conclusion that everybody at core is good. I know that there are often so many layers to that it's hard to see in ourselves or in others because of the outward actions that are the result of trauma or mental health challenges or physical health challenges or socioeconomic challenges. The list goes on, right? And it's not to minimize those challenges and saying that I try to see through them to the heart of individuals. And I want to also express my own heart as openly and sincerely and in every other manner of to project who I am. That's part of the reason why I call this the Dave Cast, because it's time for me to be Dave. And I am pumped as an overinflated tire to help you to do the same.
Part 2, Meatcast.
Good job, Bebe.
Okay, this is going to be the fun part. So, the Dave Cast is also a play on the word cast, because there is a full cast that is part of this show. In future episodes, you're going to meet each of the characters, and they're going to show up as themselves. But all of them are played by me. So this is going to be the only episode where I act like a Russian formalist and lay bare the devices. Shout out to any critical theorist out there. Yay! Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to all these characters. After this episode, they are going to speak for themselves. But right now, I want to give you the behind the scenes of who they are and what each character's personality means to me personally, because all of them are a part of me. So let's start with Eddie. I love Eddie. Eddie is my Daniel Tiger. He is the one who I would say is closest to my outward personality and a lot of my inward self as well. Eddie is a bunny who has a lot of social anxiety. He's awkward. Like he does fine. He shows up. He's brave. He puts himself into social settings and takes chances.
In fact, Eddie is even the lead singer in our new cover band called Dave and the Boomchucks. More on that later.
Eddie likes to push himself, but he's freaked out doing it.
Just like me right now.
And he's super brave. Like, he is one bad A bunny. And I absolutely love him. So each of the characters have voices. I play all of those voices.
And so this is Eddie, and he talks like this, and I don't use a filter or anything. This is just my actual voice talking like Eddie, and he likes to do a lot of fun things.
Thank you. You're too kind. So in the actual podcast, all of these characters are going to be interacting with me in real time, but Eddie's going to be the one that I talk with the most. And so sometimes it's just going to be the two of us, or some of the podcasts I'll just ride solo. But a lot of times I'll be dialoguing with Eddie. And so in a real sense, what you're seeing in this podcast is autobiographical in the moment, right? Like I'm fragmenting myself and talking to myself through these characters. Yeah, that's how I roll. So it's basically like, I don't know, I've talked to myself since I was a child. And so now I'm just going to broadcast that to the world. So that's pretty fun. Anywho, let's go to the next character. So the next one, let's go with Bebe. Bebe is a wild, crazy, awesome Highland coo. So he's one of those fluffy cows. Fluffy cow. That's Bebe's voice. He typically says only one or two words at a time. He is always offbeat. He is constantly interrupting, but not meaning to. He says sorry a lot. Sorry. He has a hard time staying focused. He's often distracted. And he has a heart bigger than Texas. And I love him for it. Bebe cares deeply about people. Sometimes, actually often, he missteps and maybe offends people. He gets under the skin of our third character, Nini. I'll talk about her in just a minute, but he loves her so much, and he loves everybody so much. And that is exactly why I have asked Bebe to be the head of our humanitarian side of the Dave Cast, where we're going to have do-good projects where you'll be able to get involved in making a real difference in the world. More on that to come. Yay! Bebe is another part of me. I really struggle with focus and sensory overload and all kinds of different challenges that I've learned to cope with. But Bebe gives me permission to just kind of let go sometimes. Be you. And be okay with not always fitting into the neat box of society. To be frank, I've never been able to fit into the neat box of society. And I've often conformed to that when I felt like I needed to. But again, Bebe gives me permission to just let loose and kind of embrace my wild side a little bit and not be ashamed of the creative mess that is my mind and myself. And so I love Bebe for that. His catchphrase is, "Wah, Bebe!" And he's just amazing. I think that the world, in a lot of ways, is set to the beat of a metronome. It's like, I'm so bad at keeping time, you guys. And so there'll be a music aspect to this. And I'm terrible at it. But it's okay. And I just let Bebe be offbeat as much as he wants to.
Hey there, would you like to hear a sample?
Alrighty then.
The band got together. It's kind of like a first trial run. Right now we're a cover band. We're hoping to produce some original content as well. Currently we're going by Dave and the Boomchucks. Shout out to my friend Abby for teaching me a few chords on the guitar. And yeah, so we tried to do Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit, and we got part of the way through the song, but then Bebe was like, we had them alternating between who was saying hello, 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 and Bebe kept jumping early, and Nini, she just could not handle it. And so and then he just started making fun of her and poking her. He just kind of got into one of his modes, and she starts screaming, and we just had to end it.
Sorry.
So I'll play you the ending of it, but you can go to our newly launched YouTube channel. And yes, indeedy, this is a plug for you to subscribe to that YouTube channel. The handle is @DaveCastShow. There's not a lot of content there as we're just launching, but I will post the entire song as far as we got, just the audio track on the YouTube channel. So please come visit there and subscribe. That would be awesome. And we're going to put a lot more content there very soon, including a music video for that jam session of Nirvana. So here's the ending of it when Nini and Bebe kind of went at it.
Here we go.
Contagious, here we are now.
Eddie, Bebe, and Nini couldn't be more different, and yet they all come together in me because they are parts of who I am. And so going through the creative process of putting all of these parts together and giving voice to and loving each of them as they conflict with each other and try to mesh into some sort of harmony has been super challenging and also very rewarding, as I've had to do the hard work of introspection to recognize each individual piece and try to put them together in some way that makes sense. And it's still a work in progress. And so, like I said, you're going to be watching me struggle through that in real time as I converse with these different characters in the Dave cast. All right, next character is Nini.
Yay!
Nini, without doubt, is the cutest, most caring little bear that you will ever encounter in your life. She does talk, but she only says her name, Nini.
Nini.
And so a lot of what you're getting from her will be voice inflections. There's a lot of emotion that can go into her saying her name. So if she's happy, she might say,
Nini.
but then she can be sad and say,
Nini.
most of the time she's pretty chill, but she can also get pretty wound up and just lose it. I mean, like, seriously lose it. So she is a bit of a perfectionist, and she really struggles with Bebe. She loves Bebe. Bebe definitely loves her. He never wants to cause harm. But as you heard in the music clip, sometimes the combination of the two of them is too much for Nini to handle. So she'll be super sweet, and then all of a sudden she'll just lose it and make a sound like this. But Nini's role in this project is to just exude love and caring and goodness and light and everything that Nini is.
Love, Nini.
Me too, Bebe. So there'll be a lot of posts and other content Nini-based that is positive affirmation, is motivation, is just validation that you are loved because you are, that you are good enough because you are. Nini she just loves everyone. And for me personally, Nini fills my heart with a lot of gratitude because throughout my life, I've experienced some really long and difficult periods of darkness through mental health issues and other challenges. And through all of that, I think the only thing that kept me going was love. And most of the time, it was almost impossible to feel that love when I was in the depths of my darkness. And I wouldn't even allow it in. It would just be a total rejection of love and light and goodness and all of those things. But every once in a while, it would break through. And somebody would love me so purely, just so authentically, that I couldn't help but feel it. And it's why I'm still here. And it's a big part of why I'm doing this project. And Nini, for me, represents that. I want to project love in the most beautiful ways from the rooftops in any way that I can, to maybe be one of those voices of kindness and goodness and love for others that sometimes might have a difficult time feeling that. So that's our crew. And as you can probably tell, each of these characters is very dear to me because they are a part of self. And at the risk of crying again, you're going to have to get used to that too.
Just let it out, Dave.
Cry okay.
Each of these characters represent things that, to be frank, I hated in myself. But through a lot of struggle and hard work and help and strategies of self-reflection and self-discovery that I'm excited to now share with you, I've just fallen in love with each of these characters and each of these characteristics that they represent. And I've learned to have self-love for even those parts of me that are underdeveloped. And I shouldn't even say underdeveloped, because I don't know that there's any kind of like expectation or benchmark. It's just I've come to love myself as I am right now. And it's exciting to then choose how to continue to learn and grow and develop in new ways, and also to love myself exactly as I am right now.
A freaking man, brother. Nini.
As Nini said, this third section of episode 1 is about the project itself, how you can get involved, what the pieces are. So I think first it's important to understand that this project is not intended to be a standalone podcast. It's what I'm calling not just a broadcast, but a broader cast, where I'll be producing a whole range of content, videos, and courses.
Super cool art from Dave.
Loud music.
And so much more. And the podcast is just a part of that. It is an important part of it because this is where we're going to dialogue and I'm going to share kind of the thoughts of what probably a month of content will be based upon. But I don't think that I'll be publishing, especially not at first, every week in the podcast realm. But I will be publishing every week something that hopefully will be beneficial to you and uplifting and motivating and
Full of heavenly bliss.
well, that sounds pretty good. Okay, just one more thing that I want to make very clear as a distinction between my project and other help that you might get in your life. This is not therapy. Multiple therapists throughout my life have been not only life-changing for me, but life-saving in the tools that they taught me and the things that I was able to work through with their trained professional help were invaluable to me during some very difficult times of my life. And although I hope that this project does bring light to your life as you're trying to find your authentic voice and share it with others, again, it is not therapy, and I just want to make that distinction between professional help that you can get in that realm and what I'm trying to do with this project. My professional expertise lies between education and cultural studies, and what I am super excited to do is to take the best of both of those worlds and combine them with entertainment as well. And that's a new realm for me, even though, like I said, I try to incorporate that into my teaching. I'm ready to get full on weird with y'all and just let loose and be vulnerable and above all, be genuine and authentic. When I tell you multiple times on episodes that I love you, it's because I do. When I say I believe in you, it's because I do. And when I say that you are the reason, at least one of the reasons why I'm doing this, it's because it's true. The other reason is because I have learned that my voice is important too. And to be able to project that in a time where it frankly is so easy to do, to create media and publish it, is thrilling to me. It's also terrifying. Like, my brain is going crazy as I'm launching this. I have so many different emotions swirling in me, and I am scared. Like, I feel the anxiety of launching, but I also feel even more so the gratitude of having a place to share my voice as I am with people I love, and that's you. So let's do it, baby! With that, my friends, I believe we have arrived at
The end of the beginning.
because this really is just the start of what I hope is a long and entertaining and hopefully helpful project that will help you to develop your own talents and find your own light, and most importantly, I think, to realize how amazing and loved you are. Because my vision for the Davecast is so much bigger than just a podcast and a crazy cover band and more dad jokes than zucchini from your neighbor's garden. It's intended to be a world movement that starts with you and leads toward more light, kindness, love, and healing. That, my friends, I believe is a show worth launching. And guess what? You are standing right now at center stage, ready to make it happen by joining the team, sharing the content,
Please
and
subscribe.
just growing in your awesomeness every day. I believe I've been preparing my entire life to launch this project, and I also believe that this project can change the lives of others. But above all, I believe in the project because I believe in you. And I am so grateful for your support to spread our individual and collective light as far as we can. Thank you again, sincerely, for helping me to help you take huge, brave, vulnerable, beautiful steps into your own personal spotlight, and then to share that unique light with the world. Because you know what the world needs right now?
Pizza flavored toothpaste?
Not quite.
Dancing toothpicks.
Not exactly what I had in mind.
Self folding laundry?
Okay, that actually is a good idea.
Fluffy cows.
Always a plus, Bebe. Nini, I freaking love you. What Nini said was, the world needs you. Beautifully imperfect, courageously freaked out, sometimes put together, and often a hot mess. Genuinely authentic, so very much enough. Exactly as you are. You. Are you ready to be tenaciously you and freaking love everything about it?
Aw, yeah!
You know I'm in. And I can't wait to see you again soon at
The Dave Cast.
Bye.
See you later, Acolator!
Love you guys.